We've also turned on closed captioning, but within tomorrow, you'll be able to go and find this class so that you'll be able to watch it later. If you see something that Anna does that you want to be able to recreate, you can go back and you can watch it there on YouTube, on the Michael's YouTube channel. It'll be there loaded for you to go view it. You may consider subscribing to our YouTube channel if you're not already, so that you always get notified when the newest videos are loaded. During class today, you'll be able to interact with me and with Anna during using the Q&A function. If you have any questions, you can put it in there. I'll watch it and answer those questions, or make sure that Anna sees them so that she can answer those questions. I think that covers all of the instructions that I have for you guys. We're excited to have you, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, Anna, it's all yours.
Hey guys, my name is Anna Bryson, and I am a designer at Michael's. And today we are going to make a Rainbow Loom charm bracelet. So let's get started. I'm going to first go over a couple of things firsthand. Sorry, I was playing while I was waiting. The supply list that we are going to need, and it's not exactly limited to these items, but Rainbow Loom rubber bands are something that's, pretty much, there's not a whole lot of substitutes that I can offer, but there are some substitutes I can offer on other things. So I'll go through that. The first thing you're going to, I recommend that you use is a Loom-Loomi-Pals kit. It doesn't have to be this one. There's several different options. But really, even if you don't have this, you can use a regular loom, regular rainbow loom, and which I did not grab, but I can go grab if I need to kind of show. And or you can use 2 dowel sticks if you have those, or even maybe craft sticks if you have them. Just something sturdy enough, a pen, pencil, 2 pencils, 2 pens, that kind of thing. Basically, you need something that creates like a shape that's like 2 pegs. I will say it will be more difficult, but it's not impossible. Okay. So this loom right here is what I'm going to use. It comes with the Loomi-Pals set. Like I said, it can be this one, any of the other Loomi-Pals. There's a giant Loomi-Pals or larger Loomi-Pals. But you can use any of the rubber bands within Rainbow Loom, or if you have another type of rubber band that are small like this, you can use those as well. And you'll need some of these little doodads here. They're called J hooks or G hooks. Sorry, they're shaped like a G. But if you have the ones that come with the regular rubber bands, just they're called C hooks.
Hold on just one second, Anna. I'm getting some messages that people can't see you anymore. Oh. I pinned your video to the front so that everyone should be able to see it. So let me see if I can figure out what's going on.
Is that better? Oh, that's me.
We can see you. They're not seeing anything. So hold on.
Okay, let me make sure my video didn't do something weird on my camera. It doesn't look like it, but I'm not since my video's on.
Let's see here. Spotlight it for everyone. Okay, I think that might be better. Let's try that. If you guys are still having issues, put that in the Q&A.
Can you see me?
Is that better, guys?
I'll kind of pause and just until we know.
Yeah, can someone let me know in the chat if okay, it looks good now. They're coming through, so you're good to go now. Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure, no, thank you. I'm going to backtrack a little bit just so you can see what I was talking about. This Loomi-Pals, I'm going to take this little bag that comes with it, these little set of bags out. This Loomi-Pals set here is the one I'm using. There's several different options out there. Sorry, there's a glare. I'm trying to kind of make sure you don't get that nice little glare. There's several different options out there. It does not have to be this exact one. You have a monster tail, that works. If you have a regular rainbow loom, that works. But right now, this is what I am using. In this little loom right here comes with this set here. So this is what I'm using. But again, I can talk you through some of the other ones. I have those items. I didn't pull them down. But I can try to talk you through them. It's very simple. Basically, you just need the 2 pegs. So if you have a regular loom, just pick 2 outside pegs. That's all you need. If you have a monster tail, just hold your loom. It just looks different. It's the same loom, roughly, just looks a little different. The pro, if you look at the little book that comes with this set here, a little pamphlet, it has this where it has them like, you can put your rubber bands on this little hook thing. I don't ever do that because I'm holding it, but you definitely can do that if you want to. But this guy, I'm gonna turn him back around. I'm going to use multiple different rubber bands. As I mentioned earlier, you'll need some of these little G hooks. They're shaped like a G. But if you have the regular, I'm sorry, I'm very OCD. I like to keep everything organized. So the C hooks that come with a regular, with the regular rubber band sets, the C hooks that look like these guys here. I know that they're clear and it's not beautiful, but these work too. These will be just fine as well. So you can do either one of those hooks. And if, worst case, if you don't have any of those, but you have, let's say, jump rings from a previous project that we did before, the kids' jump rings, you absolutely can use those as well. Mainly, these right here, they're just convenient and they're easy. You'll need some charms, since it is a charm bracelet. You can add those later. There's these Loom-Pal charms that come with your Loom-Pal set, which are kind of fun. They kind of feel like erasers. I haven't tried it, so I don't know if they really are. These are some Creatology charms that you can choose. I'm really into disco balls right now, so I may consider putting that on mine. Today, I have several different options here of dinosaurs. I'm a soccer player. I could put a soccer ball on there. You can do any charms, just whatever charm that you want. You can do one, you can do a bunch. As you can see in my sample here, or my two samples, I have a simple Loom-Pal charm on this one. Or I just kind of had a little bit more crazy on this one and spaced them out. So, and you can fill it up. You can do just one, whatever you want to do. So we'll get started on our Rainbow Loom bracelet. It is very, very repetitive. So once we get the pattern down, you just continue the same pattern over and over and over. So I can answer any questions that you have as we're doing this. So just feel free to type your questions in and Kristen will jump in and let me know, so we can everyone stay together. All right.
Yeah,
so,
I see, really, before you go, Anna, we have a bunch of people who have their hands raised. So if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the chat so that we can answer them that way, because this is a webinar. That's the best way to get answers to your questions. Okay. And then we'll go off of everything that's put into the Q&A. I said chat, but I meant question and answer. That's how we'll keep track of those questions. All right. Thank you.
Great. So, kind of hold for a few minutes. It sounds like if we have some questions, I'm going to be able to answer.
I think you're good. I think I can answer them, and if not, I'll wait for a natural pause and bring them up for you, Anna. Perfect. So you're good to go.
Great. Awesome. So we're going to start with you can loom with one rubber band or two. Now, if you see the difference here, you've got this one and this one. Looming with two rubber bands at a time gives you a little bit chunkier look. Or just a single rubber bands here. I like the double for multiple reasons. One being, if one of the rubber bands breaks, then you always have the second one and your bracelet won't fall apart. That's another like big one for me, because I'm super active and chances are I'll break one. And I wear them when I play soccer. I wear them when I'm doing whatever. I don't wear the charms, but the bracelets. But the single one, if you have, you want a little bit daintier look or something a little more simple, not so, bold, then go with a single one. So it's up to you. And when I say that, I mean, as you're working, you'll start with either one or two, and then you'll add one or two. So I'll try to keep that in mind as I'm going through the instructions or the steps for this guy. Okay. So to start this, you want to cast on, which is a knitting term, but you'll cast on your first set of rubber bands. And by doing that, I'm going to go from the outside and I'm going to twist and then go and then put it on this side. So I am right-handed. So for some reason I go left to right. I don't know if there's a right-handed thing or if that's a reading thing or just kind of what's natural to me, but it really doesn't matter if you start right to left or left to right. What matters is the crisscross in the middle. You can see that here. It's kind of like a figure 8. So I will do that again. And I'm going to do it from I'm going to do it from a tops down angle. Or I'm going to do my best tops down angle without my hand in the way. So I'm going to loop it around like this. Then I'm going to twist my wrist, loop it on here. So then I have this little X right here. And then I'm going to push it down. So that is how we will start this. But actually, we're actually not just starting that. We're going to have that pattern within our bracelet So just remember the crisscross, because we're going to do some straight across and some crisscross. Okay. I started with 2 because again, I liked a little bit chunkier. But if you want just 1 rubber band, that works too. This does not have to be done in any kind of rhyme or reason. You can go, you can do a rainbow, you can do all 1 color, you can do a multiple of colors, you can do all the colors, pick a couple of colors, whatever you like to do. I kind of think the random is kind of fun. So I'm just going to kind of pull some up as I go. And actually what I might do is just dump some in a little pile here, because that might be kind of fun just to see what pops up. And I like to do a little bit more white just because it kind of breaks up some of the brightness. And then I'm just going to make a mess here. It's not normal what I do, but this is what I'm doing today. Okay, because to me that looks fun. Now there is a set of rubber bands you can get that already looks like this. So lots of fun. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up 2 random rubber bands, and I'm going to go straight across this time. Okay, see, oh, I just went straight across. And okay, so you see that I just went, so we've got if you can see inside there. So I'm going kind of slow because I know sometimes rainbow loom can be a little bit harder to follow. Got the crisscross on your first set, on the bottom set here on your loom, or on your pegs if you're doing a rainbow loom. If you have a regular rainbow loom on your pegs, remember, pick 2 pegs that are close together on one of the outsides, because that way it's just going to kind of go through the pegs and then go along the outside as we work. And then we have 1 that's straight across, so you can see on the inside and on the side here. Okay, and then we are going to take 1 from the outside and pull it over. You see what I did there? I'm gonna go again real slow, and I'll pull it and go out from outside and move it to the middle. Outside, move it to the middle. Okay, I'm gonna back up again, just show that one more time. I know I show that how to start several times, but I think that sometimes what most people kind of struggle with. So I like to show it a couple of times. So I'm sorry if you got it the first time, great. If you didn't, that's awesome. Don't worry, I'll show you a couple times. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I'm gonna show it from the side angle. Okay, so I'm gonna take, you can use your rainbow loom tool too if you want to. I'm just using my hands. I'm taking the bottom and I'm moving it out, up and over into the middle. And then the bottom 2, or the original crisscross, out and over. Cool. We got it. Do we have any other questions? We have any questions on that one?
Nope.
Awesome.
Seems to be good so far.
Awesome. So then you push these down. Okay. Then we're going to grab 2 more. I'm trying not to grab the same colors, and sometimes that happens. So it's not as random as I'd like it to be, because I want to change things up a little bit. So now I'm going to take another set, and then I'm going to do the crisscross again.
Before you cross that over, Anna, we did just get a question that comes through.
Okay.
So if someone's doing the double band, they want to know if they should have 6 bands. It looks like we should never have more than 4 bands across at a time. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. I mean, if you want, technically there are 6 bands on my loom because 2 of them are correct here. But yes, that is correct. You're working 2 as if there were 1. If that makes sense. You're working like I'm pulling this pink and blue and out together as 1. Yes, that is correct. So you'll have 2, then you'll take, or you'll have 4, then you'll take 2 off, and then you'll add 2 more. So you just like 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then you've said this a couple of times, but if you don't have this exact tool that you're using, you can use the actual rainbow loom. Just use 2 pegs on the outside.
Correct.
Okay,
so the
perfect.
pegs will act like the 2 things that I'm working over here. Monster Loom is shaped a little bit different than this and the loom, but it also has 2 pegs. So it's handheld and it's like this, but it has 2 little kind of weird things that go out to hold them. Yeah. So those, and if you're using, like I said, if you're using 2 pencils or craft sticks or something like that, it's a little bit more challenging holding them, separate. So you might want to like maybe fold some paper and put it like in between to kind of hold them, separate them out. Just kind of make an apparatus, if you're going to a Chinese food restaurant and you're getting the chopsticks that, like, I don't know how to hold chopsticks, so I always have to have the cheaters. Kind of think of that way, where you can stick the paper in between with the rubber band to kind of hold them out separated. But I mean, it's best to use the loom. It's just easier to hold And it could be any of the looms really. You just need 2 pegs. Okay.
Perfect.
Yep. So this last 2 sets, I have a crisscross. So this is where it's going to start to get a little bit kind of confusing, but I'm going to try my best to keep it as straight as I can. Also note that once you get this pattern down, it's repetitive throughout the whole bracelet. So it's fairly simple but sometimes it's challenging to get it down the first, at the very beginning. Okay, so we had a crisscross and we took them off. We did a straight across. Now we have a crisscross. So now I'm going to take the ones that were straight across at the bottom, this bottom 2 here, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I did them backwards, and it doesn't, as you can see, it does not matter. I say backwards because the first time I went from right to left, and that time I did left to right. I hope I'm not confusing you. It works either way. It's either way. So then you can push, and now I'm going to push them down. And then I'm going to put 2 more on here. Straight across. And then I'm going to pick one up, move them over, pick it up, move it over. And like I said, if you have the tool with you, you can use that. My tool is with my rainbow loom, I'm pretty sure, which is not right here. So, and then you're just gonna repeat that pattern over and over and over. It's gonna I'm gonna do a crisscross on this one. And then we're going to take them from the outside and move it in. So really it's basically you're putting 2 on and then taking 2 off, putting 2 on and taking 2 off. And they're kind of weaving within each other. And as you can see, it's starting to kind of come down here, and it looks like it's just going to be a, pretty simple little, and there's all kinds of techniques out there, all kinds of techniques on how to do these different things. The fishtail, there's, I don't even know what they're all called. I know the fishtail name, and there's several different ones, and on the loom there's there's so many different things to do with here. So much. I love doing rainbow loom. I think it's a lot of fun. And that's all we're doing. We're gonna go back and forth and back and forth. Let's see, was my last one was crisscross. I can see it. So if you get lost like I just did, I can see inside here that my last one, that red and white, was crisscrossed. So I know this next set will be straight across. I can grab these 2. And then you're just going to work your rubber bands until you get the length that you want for your bracelet. Mixed up my colors here. I keep grabbing the same colors. And that's okay too, if you grab the same colors. I just was trying to mix mine up a little bit. I'm going to truly be random now. I'm not even going to pay attention. Now I'm going to work kind of fast. And just push them down. If you can see, the crisscross gives you just a little bit of like a twist on the side. As we work these. Now I will say, as you're working, I'm gonna draw, I'm just gonna kind of talk a little bit about this. There's this brochure that comes with your Loomi-Pals. This is a great tool to help with kind of some of the beginnings, and it kind of helps. Like, I wrote myself some instructions when I created this, so I can go back through, and I even told myself, go look at figure 1 just to remember. It wasn't the whole thing, because the way I did it was a little bit different, but it's a great little tool to show, to help you learn some different techniques, and show you how to close up your bracelet, which we will go over in this class. How to add your charms, which we again will go over. But it's a nice kind of a reassurance, or remember. It's a really good graphics, and it'll help you when you're finishing your bracelet up or starting. If you don't remember, if you put this down in a couple of weeks later, you're like, oh, well, how did I do that? And then you can go in there and they'll remind you of some of the things that we did. Even though we're doing a little bit different technique, it's not a big difference. Oops. I just grabbed too many. And now I'm lost here. Hang on, let me back up. See, even professional crafters get twisted around. There we go. Got myself fixed up. Okay. So that we have a couple of hashtags that when you're done with your project, you can attach you'll attach to your pictures and post them online so we can see them. Kristen, do you happen to know them off the top of your head? I get myself. Oh, I have them. Never mind.
I was gonna say, I do. I can help with that.
I have them typed up right here.
Okay.
I know them all day long, but then when I'm talking, sometimes it's like, what was that again?
Trying to do two things at once for
Yep.
sure.
We've got hashtag Michael's Kids Club, and you can do hashtag Make It With Michael's. Both of those we will see. I think for this one, we prefer the kids one, but we are definitely open to both.
You can also use our newer one that's called hashtag Learn with Michaels too.
Oh.
That works as well.
Yes, I have not learned. I haven't heard about that one yet. So thank you, Kristen. I had not heard about it. Very cool.
We just launched a new classes Instagram account, Learn with Michaels, so you can go check that out as well. But we do have a quick question, Anna, while you're working on this, maybe you can answer this. We have somebody who wants to know why they can't crisscross each row.
You
Like,
can.
why do you need to? Okay, so it's just
Yes,
for
just
the design of this, so you could
Yeah.
totally cross it over each time.
Absolutely. And you can not crisscross them if you don't want to crisscross them. You don't absolutely have to. That's just how I did it, just for just a little bit of a different flair. It kind of does a little bit of different twist.
Okay.
Absolutely twist every single one or none of them. Great question. I mean, there's so many different variances too. I mean, you can add another set on here. I'm just going to kind of play a little bit. You can add another set on here and then pull one over. So always work kind of a little bit ahead. So you have 6 on here instead of 2 or instead of 4. And then you still take your bottom ones and you put it over, and this will kind of give you a little bit more of a fishtail look. And I know I just switched on you, but there's so many different little variances. If you make one little change, it can change the design on the outside or make the bracelet look a whole lot different. And it's just, it's all how you want to do it. Because really, for the purpose of the charm bracelet, it can be any technique. You just need to be able to, shove one of these guys through the rubber bands, which with rubber bands, they're flexible. They're easy to do that. So I'm just kind of, now I'm on, I hope I didn't confuse anybody because I just started doing a little bit different look, but it'll make the, so mine's going to be weird because at the end it's going to have 2 different things, but that's okay. Just wanted to show, and the nice thing at the end is I'll have that to show you, how where the differences went and how the little subtle change, just adding another one and working over 2 sets instead of 1, how that made a difference in the end result. And then I'm not crisscrossing any of these. I'm just kind of going. But who knows? I may crisscross some and that'll give us another variance. And then I'll have a very, very interesting multi-design bracelet. And I didn't push these down, so it's kind of hard to get in there. So remember, push them down. It makes it a little bit easier to work. And I'm always pulling on my rubber bands just to keep them a little bit straight. But I mean, you don't have to do that. That's just my weirdness. Oops, I grabbed too many. Okay. So do we have any first-time Rainbow Loomers today? Or are we all seasoned pros? I have not. I have been a seasoned pro for quite a while, but I have been on vacation. Not really on vacation, but I haven't done rainbow looming in a while. But I do love it, and I wanted to do a class on it just for something different. Also, if you know of a jewelry technique or something that you are interested in learning, let us know what that is. Kristen actually is also a kids jewelry teacher online. And both of us would love to see what you guys are wanting us to teach you.
For sure.
So many different things. And if you guys are loving the jewelry, the kids jewelry that we have, make sure you mark your calendars and go in the store in April. I'm not sure what time in April, but in April, we have some new things coming lots of new charms, kids earrings. I can't wait to do an earring class. Cannot wait. All kinds of really great items that are coming that are new. Barrettes. Trying to think what else without giving too much away. Actually, that's probably giving way too much away, but just watch. There's a lots of stuff coming. There's some charm bead boxes, charm boxes, and see if you can see here. I'm just going to show here. See how tight, and that's kind of that's what they call the fishtail, and then versus the looser here at the end. I mean, I don't know if my camera may not be, my lighting may not be that great as far as doing the justice, but if you can see, I'm going to go from here and I'm going to slowly, you can kind of see it kind of gets bigger. So it's just preference. And on these right here, I didn't do a twist at all. And these I did a twist on the every other one. And you can see some of the twists within, I don't even know. Yeah. Within some of the right here, you can see them kind of pinched in. So it just depends on what you like. So there's several, I mean, I think with 2 pegs, you're a little bit more limited than if you had obviously the whole loom where you can do all kinds of different patterns and stuff to get different, flowers. And I've even done an Easter bunny. I've actually done a baby Jesus in a manger with rainbow loom. I've done all kinds of stuff. So much fun. It's my we have a tradition with the rainbow loom baby Jesus in my house with my kids, but every year. But I'm trying to think. I actually did a tie we sent to Jimmy Kimmel long time ago. It was like, I don't even remember. I had the stats. It was like 13 or 20,000 rubber bands. It was crazy, but it was fun. I've done all kinds of things, but I've seen dresses and I've seen a whole suit made out of rainbow loom. I have not gone that far, but there are so many things. But with the 2 pegs, you're a little bit more limited on the manipulations that you can do with your rubber bands. But there are definitely lots of things out there that you can do. And let's see, what else do we have? I'm trying to think of what else that's coming up that I can talk about and tell you about as we're looming. Thing about this project, like I said, it's real repetitive. Once you get the pattern down, you're just repeating. So it's not as many like steps and, teaching moments throughout the project until we get to the end. So my bracelet, I'm going to do about 6.5 inches. So you just do it as long as you need. And you can do, like, if you're like, okay, I'm good now. You don't want it as a bracelet. You can put we have some little paracord, like plastic hooks and bright, fun colors. Can add that and make a, zipper pull for your backpack. If you want to add, I wish I have them. I just don't have them right here. If you had like alphabet beads, I can show you. I have some right here. Let me grab. I will say these are, this is a way to add beads to if you want to add beads. I'm not spelling anything specific. See, I did have this letter P. Put your rubber band through, and I will admit these are small beads that we do not carry anymore. But you can use the regular size ones too. This is just what I had right at my left. So if you just put your rubber band through there, and then you put it on here. Now I would try to shove 2 through there, but this is a smaller one, so I'm just using the one just for this example. But you can see how I just have it in there. It's kind of acts as the crisscross, and then just keep looming. And then, I would I would do a couple of rubber bands and then add another one. Now it will pop out. It looks like it's hidden right now, but it will pop out in just a bit whenever it kind of starts to show in the bracelet. Let's see, was that yeah, okay. My colors kind of started blending there. Okay, because I had too many reds on there. So I'm gonna grab another one. And again, I'm not spelling anything specific. I'm just pulling letters out without looking. So we'll pretend they're initials. Okay. Of course, I'm going to pick a blue that's on there, like that's already on there. Oh, okay. I'm going to switch that since that came undone. Oops. Okay. Come on. So I'm just kind of showing you a couple different things that you can do as you're working, and you know, you can try them now or you can try them later. I did not add these as part of the supply list. Sorry, I have it kind of, this is probably out of the screen a little bit. So I'm just trying to get close to my face so I can see it here. There we go. See how I have it there and then across those, and then I'm just going to put them across my loom. Like I said, if you had the regular size that we carry, then you can do, you know, 2 through there. I just did not have enough room in these smaller ones, and then just keep looming. And I didn't choose any specific letters. I just grabbed some that were close, that I just opened the jar and pulled them out. Oops, there we go. And like that P just popped out here, so that U will pop out again. I think I did 2 in between. Let's see, where's the, I'm gonna grab purple. It was the green that was the single. And then let's see what other color that's going to come up here. How about I'm gonna say pup. Let's see. I don't know what MUP is, but maybe it's an initial for service. It's somebody's initials. My initials are ABC. So I did not, but I just, you can spell a word. Quote might be too hard, but like a word or your name or your mascot at your school. You know, your favorite football team, your soccer team, you know, whatever. Any of those things work. Your initials. You can make something for mom for Mother's Day. And put mom or her initials, or your initials, or you and your siblings if you have sibling initials. So many options. And if you don't want to do alpha beads, that's okay. You can just do regular beads too, as long as it fits, the rubber bands fit through the hole of the bead. Like pony beads are great for this kind of, for this type of project. And just remember, when you're doing them, the beads will kind of hide. The letters will kind of hide as you're working. I didn't even measure this guy here. Probably going like way. I'm gonna pull this away from the camera so I measure. I have nope, I got a little bit more, a little bit longer. So remember, when you're working with these, you want, you know, usually when you're making a bracelet, you have the space of the lobster clasp and the jump rings. But in this case, this right here is all you have in between the two ends. So you don't need a lot of space. So you want to make sure that your bracelet is long enough for your wrist. The nice thing about this is it's stretchy. That's one nice thing. And 2 is like with these clips right here, they're easy to come on and off. So if you don't want to wear it when you go swimming or take a shower, or when you're playing sports or riding, if it's on your, you know, wrist when you're riding, I mean, whatever, you can take them off fairly easily, versus some bracelets that, you know, when they're on, they're on. Yep, I was gonna remember where I was here. So I'm getting close to the end of mine. I've got a little bit longer. If you're already there, just hold tight. I know I stopped a couple of times, but I'm also kind of flying a little bit. Let's see. So many different, like I said, there's so many different things you can do. Today, I know we are doing charm bracelets. I know I kind of threw a couple things at you here to kind of help, you know, teach you a couple different techniques and show you the differences of, you know, the little variations, and then adding beads. So those are a couple little bonuses we tossed in. which is nice about these impromptu, or not impromptu, these live classes, is you can kind of do some of those things. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple more, and then I'm going to end this bracelet. So when we get there, I'm going to ask you to stop what you're doing so you can see what I'm, see how I'm doing it. And I will go slow, and as normal, I will do it a couple of times. I'm going to do maybe 3 more little flippy doos. Don't know if that's a term, but that's what we're calling it today. Okay, so there's more. 2, and then I'm going to end it with 1 more. I'm going to go out with pink and or blue and green. Those are fun colors too. You guys are doing okay? Everyone's so quiet.
We have a couple of questions.
Great.
Somebody is wanting to know how we do this on the Rainbow Loom.
Okay.
Which I know you've kind of gone over a little bit, but maybe you can do that, give a little bit more explanation.
Yeah, I don't have one with me right here. I can say I have one in my garage, which is not far. I can run and grab it, but I'm going to draw. Okay, so we're going to pretend. So when I'm looking down at, you've got your 2 pegs like this. Okay, but when you're working at it, you've got your peg here and here. Okay, so here's your loom. So yeah, there could be, you could have other pegs here, but right here, you want to concentrate on only these 2 on the outside. Okay, so now what is important on the crisscross is the first one. Okay, that way they don't all fall off. Okay, so the first one does have to be crisscross. After that, you don't have to crisscross if you don't want to, or you can crisscross every single one, or every other one, or every 5th one, however you want to do it. But the first one has to be the crisscross. Okay, so you put you're gonna loop them on. So it's your crisscross. Okay, I should have done this a little bit bigger, but I hope you can see that. I might be able to bring this down a little bit.
It looks great. We can see
Okay.
it just fine, Anna.
Fantastic.
It looks awesome.
Okay, so then we have this. Okay, so then you're going to put your other one over here, and so and then you're going to do the same thing we did on here, where I did it. I'm going to lay this here next to it. I'm going to actually, because I'm right-handed, I'm put on this side. So it kind of looks like this, and then you're going to take this and move it to the middle here, and this here. Okay, or other way. Doesn't have to be right to left or left to right. Can be either one. And then it's the exact same thing. So you won't really want to pretend these 2 pegs are these 2 pegs. So everything that we just did on these 2 pegs, you could do on these 2 pegs here. Okay, they just look different. Your bracelet will end up exactly the same. You can do the beads on there just like we did on here. You can do a fish, you can do the variations. You can do, we're going to add the charms to the bracelet once it's done, so that being on whatever loom, it's not going to be on a loom anymore, so it won't matter. So everything that you can do here, you can do here. Is that a decent explanation?
Yep, that makes sense. I think the drawing was helpful for people to understand that you're not using the whole rainbow loom. You just need to pick 2 pegs next to each other and then just keep going off of the side.
Yes, ma'am.
We did have somebody else who asked their hand. They say their hand is really large, but their wrist is skinny. Should they focus on the measurement of their hand or just their wrist?
I have that exact same hand and wrist proportion, where my hand is larger than my wrist. My wrist is small, and but the nice thing about this bracelet is really you can look at it 2 ways. If you want to close it up with this guy and never unlatch it, you want to work on your hand. But the nice thing about this is you can use this as a latch, so it can come off and you can take it on and off. So your bracelet can be like this, and then you would latch it. So really, then it's just right here. Use your wrist. But I will be honest with you, either I would stick with your wrist and maybe make it, I usually go go around my wrist and then add a couple. By a couple, I mean like 2 or 3. It's not a whole lot, but just a little bit of room. But these are super stretchy. Look at this. These are super stretchy. So if your hand is at a different proportion as your wrist, like mine is, even if you stick with your wrist, much like my hair ties, they stretch to work around your wrist. So that's a great thing about the rainbow loom. It's very, very flexible. You don't want to stretch it too much because, again, at the end of the day, it is a rubber band and they can break. However, if you did the double, you're probably covered. When you do the double, it feels a little bit more stiff, but even in the double, I mean, it stretches pretty good. So great question. And I'm glad you brought that up because I do have that same hand wrist thing. So it is something that is good to know, good to call out for, which one to measure on. But really, I would stick with it because what you don't want is because these are stretchy, you don't want your wrist to be so big that it's bothering you. But the nice thing is it does stretch over your hand. So
awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes and show you how to take it off of this loom.
Perfect.
And then I am going to do my best to pop it back on and do it again. Okay, so that's one of the little bit downfalls, but I'm fairly confident that I can do it. And if for some reason I have struggles, I can do a short little nub super fast and we can do it again. Okay, so no worries. So, my last one. So right now I have 4 on my peg. Now, remember, I switched to 6 for whatever reason in the middle, and I'm sorry, I hope I didn't confuse anybody, but I switched to a fishtail. But even if you stuck with your 2, same thing. I'm just going to do 1 more than you are. No big deal. Okay, so we put, our last ones went over. I didn't add any more rubber bands. So I'm just going to take the bottom 2, move them to the middle, just like I've been doing. Okay, and then if you have 2 more like I do it again. If you don't have 2 more, you don't need to do it again. However, when you do this, hold tight, don't go too fast. You need to be ready. So what I would do, first of all, is grab one of our hooks here, and then I'm going to use it to take it off because I want it to grab, and you can move it all the way around to the bottom of the G. You can see that here. Bottom of the G. So that way, if I accidentally drop it, it doesn't start to come apart. Now, with 2 rubber bands, it takes a little bit longer for it to totally come apart. So doesn't fall apart as easy. But this part can be just a tad bit tricky if we don't get it right. Okay, so I did that. Now I'm going to reach over here and I'm going to kind of space this out just so I can grab it in here and move it and take it off. So the G is holding on to that end. Now, I like to go back in and add a jump ring. That was not part of the class, so I'm not really going to go too much into that because, if you can see, that's open. That seems a little bit loosey-goosey for me because I don't want it to fly off. If you have, these, I feel like the C hooks are a little bit more secure, but then again, they also have an opening. So I like to have a little bit more closed. I know it's kind of fuzzy in the focus. Come on, focus. Oh, well. All right. It's a C. It's got a little bit, it's got that opening here. So, it's a little bit scary, if you will, but they do hold pretty well. Like I said, I do these all the time. I use the C hooks and the G hooks often, but I also use the jump ring. So you could go back through and do a jump ring here if you wanted to. Now, the thing about the jump ring is you need a clasp, so then you can, take it on and off. But essentially, to clasp it, all you do is put the other end on the G also. So that's how you close it. Okay. I'm gonna pop this back on the loom so we can go through that again a little bit slower. I feel like I feel like it was a little. I tried to make it slow, but I don't think I ended up going as slow as I wanted to. So it's just the kind of the way it works out with me sometimes. So bear with me while I put this guy back on here, and hopefully I don't do it upside down. Okay. And if I'm crisscrossed wrong, it's okay for the sake of showing this again. I'm going to spin him off and then see if I can look at that. I'm doing it. Yay. Okay. So I'm all back on here. Now, again, I have 6. If you have 3, or if you have 4, sorry, that's okay. Just remember, I'm just going to loop 1 more than you are. Okay. So I'm just kind of separating these out here. So that, I have these across here because those were my last one, the last ones I added. So I'm going to pop these over just like normal. Okay. So now I have 4. If you continued the original way, then you just have 2 on here, or I have 4. So I am going to, so if you just have 2, hold on. I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull my bottom. If you have 4, pull your bottom 2 up and over. Okay, without adding any more. So now we all have 2. I think that's kind of where we all ended. I'm going to do the C hook this time. Well, no, I think you can see the G better, but I'm going to do a color. So that way it might be easier to see what I'm doing here. I'm going to do this lime green. I'm hoping that might be a nice little bit bright. And I'm going to move some of these things so we have a white background, so it might help. See here. Okay. So I'm going to take my G, and you can hold it any way you want to hold it. If you want to hold it by, if this handle is the side on this G, gripping the bottom is easier. That's up to you. Okay. And I'm just going to loop underneath like this. Okay. And I just went ahead and moved it over to the bottom of the G on this side, because I feel like it's easier for me to grip this side with this one here than to go inside and grip it from this side, if that makes sense. I know I'm saying this. So you really have to watch kind of, yeah. Okay. So then I just pulled it off of that one end, and see the G is holding on to those 2 bands. Okay. So then I'm just going to take that, and I'm stretching it out because to me that's easier to grip it with. And then I'm just looping it back through. You can see. So now that G is holding on to both sides, and then I'm going to take it off the loom. Okay. So the G is holding on to both of that end. Okay. Now, one of the things I do like to do, and it's going to be a little bit tricky here, but I move this around. If I move it around here, because this gives me a little bit extra security, is I take the back for the ones from the back, and I take them off. So it does like a lark's head knot at the end. So it kind of closes that up. So I just have the 2 on here so it's not so crowded. But it also has that loop there. So it's almost like a knot that, or I shouldn't say knot, it's like a loose knot that gives me a little bit extra security. Okay. And then to clasp it, you just grip the other side. And so you remember about the hand, you can be able to put it over your wrist, or you can clasp it without moving it close to my body. And this might be, I think, let me do it the other way because it might be easier for me. Without, see, I usually use my body, so it's kind of hard for me. And then you just reach around and then clasp it. So, have a parent or friend or whatever help, or use your body. I usually have it close to my body, and I don't have my camera close to my body, so I don't want to do that. But it's usually, but that's really all you do to clasp it. And now to add your charms. Now here's the fun part, because charms make everything more fun. Now, before I do that, I am going to just show you again the variations. So I'm going to slide across, and now that it's bigger, you might be able to see it. So this is the side I started with, and I did, it was a double. I did a double, but, and then here I started doing the fishtail, which was that extra set, them working over. So it makes it a little bit tighter. You can really see kind of the difference. Here are some beads added inside it, which is fun. Now, unfortunately, because the way the holes are on letter beads, they are going to be up and down like that. But I don't know why I'm so off the screen. Okay. So to add your charms, now you can close this up, or you can leave it open, whatever you want to do. I like to close it up so I can see what they're going to look like. So I have my charms. So you can add charms to just this right here. You can add charms to just this here, or you can add charms around. Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of both just to show a couple of variations. These charms here have a clasp on them already. Leave the clasp on, makes life a lot easier. And all you do with this type is open up your clasp, find some rubber bands and slide it on. Voila, ta-da. Easy, easy, easy. If you have, some of them may or may not have that clasp, but I believe most, if not all of the recollections, I'm sorry, not recollections, Creatology charms have that clasp. So what else do I want to put on here? Let's go, where'd my soccer ball go? Soccer balls are kind of big, but it has a clasp. And then you can open it, pop it on here, anywhere you want. And I think I did one backward, one upside down. No, there we go. You can do that. Now, if you're using the Loom-Pal charms that come with your Loom-Pal set, You can do this a couple different ways. If you have jump rings, you could always add them on with jump rings, which is completely fine. But they're made to go on with this guy. So it has this little dot here that kind of helps keep them on. And then you just slide that. It's actually, I think they want you to go from the inside, but I don't know how that works on the inside. So to me, this makes more sense. So I'm going to push that through the hole at the top. And then I'm going to, and he's two-sided. So it doesn't matter what side you put it on, and then slide that through. And there you go. Normally I did not have that on very good. So let me redo that. For some reason, my clasp did not close. There we go. There we go. And so then you have your different. And then this one, like I just did one here on this one. Sweet little cupcake. And there you go. There is your Rainbow Loom charm bracelet. Or Loom-Pal. Can be Loom-Pal, can be Rainbow Loom. So if you don't use the Loom-Pals, I just used to calling it that. So and there you go.
Awesome. That looks so good, Anna. I think that I'm going to figure out how to make one of these now. We've had a couple of people saying thank you in the chat or in the Q&A, which is fantastic. If you, like we said earlier, if you guys do make this, if you made it today with us, or if you make one later, now that you've seen the video, post it to have one of your grown-ups post it to social media and just hashtag make it made with Michaels, or learn with Michaels, or what was the kids one? Kids Club, Michael's Kids Club.
Yeah, Michael's Kids Club.
And then we can go see what you did. I think that's fantastic. We're excited to see what you guys did. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.